Another round and more headaches for fantasy coaches. Luckily, we have ex-overall chair Daniel along with us to help restore balance to the galaxy. Longy, good to see you.
Fantastic to be here, Paulie, and a great week for me. So I'm in very good spirits today.
I was going to say you had some good takes last week, right? Bird, Sloan, Harris all went well. But what about this week? Are you going to continue with some of those cheapies or looking more mid-range?
It's very challenging this week, and there are a lot of traps in the market right now. There are a few guys in that $400,000 to $500,000 range that I'm really excited about, and let's jump into one right now. We keep talking about Bryce Cartwright. Look, his situation changes. So Matt Dewey picked up that injury. He moves to the bench. He's probably going to play a bit of a middle role instead of Murchie there. Yeah. We get Madison back on the edge too. Bryce Cartwright's role is very solid in this Parramatta side right now.
And I love the base.
Yeah, he's doing all that without any major attacking stats, which is surprising for Bryce Cartwright, right?
Yeah. What about this guy? Because he plays for my team, West Tigers. You know, I'm seeing some hopeful improvement in their performances, even though they haven't won yet.
Toa Kamanu is a beast, and I was really hyped on him heading into last year, but he had all those injuries and a few off-field issues, and they kind of held him back. But he's starting to look like that New South Wales Blues forward prospect for the Tigers here. Yeah. You also see Joe Offengawi dropped out of the team, which helps him too. And he's playing pretty good minutes. He's sort of playing in that 40 to 50 to mid 50s kind of minutes range. Back to back
minutes.
Yeah, back to back 50 scores too. So,
what about this guy? That
Lamy
centre role, right? And he's been named to start, and that was before Felice Kafusi was ruled out.
Kafusi 4 weeks though, it does not hurt him. But yeah, they moved Kenny Bromwich to the middle to make space for this guy. They clearly rate Lemielu. So. He's probably the pod of the week at $445,000.
Look at this. It's your favourite thing.
38 average. You factor in that game where he had an injury, he's got 64 and 43. Very exciting. You can play him at centre. Grab Lemielu.
All right. I've got to talk about halves. People are worried. Adam Dewey switching to fullback this week. Other people might have traded out Nathan Cleary last week because of the bye. So if you need a half this week, where do you go?
Yeah, we made a long video on Dewey, so I'm very fresh on this. Sell Adam Dewey. At fullback, he only averages about 40 points a week. He's a guy you got to get rid of. In terms of buys at the half position, we're pretty spoilt for choice this week. Let's start at the top here and let's talk about Nico Hines first. So Nico Hines, he's back this week. He is the most expensive player in fantasy at $984,000. He plays St George this week. They do have a bye pretty soon, but with a guy like Nico Hines, you're going to buy him, you're going to keep him. He's probably not going to play Origin. So, yeah, he's a guy you can't go wrong with if you can free up the salary cap. Let's roll down the list in terms of price. So Adam Reynolds we'll talk about next. You can set your clock to Adam Reynolds averaging between 49 and 52 points a year. Yep. You then throw in the fact that this Broncos side is very, very hot right now. He's the goal kicker. He could potentially benefit on attacking stats. He's a guy you can't go wrong with. Very similar to this next guy we'll jump on. And we'll just go Dylan Brown next as well. So about a $50,000 price difference. It really is personal preference, and it's an indication of whether you think Parramatta will do well.
All right. You've got to mention a couple more here. We've got people eyeing off. We've got one enigma, Bryce Cartwright, going awesome. Can Shaun Johnson also replicate?
He's playing some pretty good footy too, Shaun. People are excited about Shaun. He's got a great base. He's averaging 58 without the attacking stats, which I didn't think was going to be possible. And he's getting about 20 points a week from kick meters. So that's the stat you got to look at for Shaun Johnson. I don't mind him. I personally would go for a Dylan Brown over a Shaun Johnson for $50,000 extra. Or go a bit cheaper here and take the next guy we're going to talk about, which is Matt Burton.
Let's have a look at him.
Yeah, Matty Burton.
That is a great price for Matt Burton.
Yeah, you're getting a big discount on Matt Burton. He's all upside at that price. He scored 59 last week. It did include a try, but the thing that was really encouraging about him there, and we won't go into the stats now, is that he's had about 25 and 45 run meters the first 2 weeks. It went up to 146 last week.
Big change. Even though it was hot weather, you did see a big change in the way he played.
But that's Matt Burton. Yep. That's Matt Burton. You're buying Matt Burton for those run meters, you're buying Matt Burton for bulk kick meters and a great defensive work rate.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's move on now, because what we need to talk about, the captain role. A lot of people captained Hopgood. It didn't quite work out the week before Cleary. So what do we do this round to get maximum value out of our team?
I think if you can captain a good player against an opposition that's a bit weak against them, that's always a good option. So Harry Grant was my captain last week. He turned up against the Titans.
What a game.
Yeah, 70 points. Pretty happy with that. Tough conditions as well, but he could blow up the Tigers. Yeah. He could really exploit them. There's some changes to their middle rotation as well. So there might be some opportunities.
Some people didn't go Grant, though, at hooker. Some people went for this guy instead.
This is hot, and he's probably my captain option of the week, Reece
Yeah,
Robson.
right.
I actually don't own Reece Robson, which I'm devastated about. But
He's killing it as well.
yeah, he's flying. 2 games over 70. He had a lower game against the Broncos, but he's got the Titans this week, and we saw Harry Grant exploit them. I'm backing Reece Robson to have 100+ meters in this game, some attacking stats, and he's made between 48 and 51 tackles every game.
Wow.
So you're locked in.
Hookers are going so well at the moment, particularly those two. But if you are looking in another direction, anyone else for captain?
There are a few other guys we could look at. I mean, people are talking about Cam Murray. I want to steer people away from Cam Murray this week. You don't want to captain middle forwards against Manly. They tend to shift the ball quite a bit. They give it a lot to their edge back rows. So you saw Jermaine Hopgood last week. He really flopped against Manly. And I think Murray might do the same. Don't trade Murray, but don't captain him.
And finally, the guy that didn't go as well for us 2 weeks ago, but can you captain him safely if you don't own Grant or Robson?
If you've got Cleary, you're probably going to captain him because you've held him, but he's not as good as those other 2 options if you have those hookers.
This is why you've got to listen to this man. He is Longy, or the casual athlete. Thank you so much again.
A pleasure to be here.
And where does everyone find you?
Yeah, so we've posted a bunch on YouTube yesterday and today. We've done a deep dive into Adam Dewey, whether you should keep him, the halve options, captaincy options, and the cheapies, and how they look for this week too. So check us out on YouTube.
Great, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome, see you there.
And of course, you can get all your fantasy news and highlights at NRL.com.